before we start, I forgot to. Great, got it. Yep.
I got it. I saw the red direct message.
It moved fast. I was like, let me just.
By the way, if you want to get a little bit more personal in the chat, feel free to throw in there too what you're here for. Maybe even what industry that you're in. This is a great opportunity to make connections. You know, we have 119 people in climbing right now. I bet we all probably could help each other out. If we're here looking for a job, trying to figure out what the right fit is, why not build a network and community to help us get there? When the music dims, that is my cue. So that's what we're waiting for, everybody. Really happy that you're all here. We are getting ready to discuss how to shop for a job, how to go to the store, right? Hopefully it's that easy. You can go to the store and just pick a job off the shelf. Look at the ingredient label. I think hopefully it doesn't cost anything. Usually it doesn't. It's a free store of jobs. Okay. Music is dimmed. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for being here. Hopefully I have your attention for the next hour or so to hopefully add some value on, we're going to do a huge range of things, from finding a job, knowing what we want, to interviewing for the job, to interviewing the job if it's right for you, to ensure that you're selecting the right fit. So we're going through a lot of content today. Please grab a pen or paper, open up a Word document. We're not going to have a ton of time to go through some of the exercises that I'm going to suggest that you go through yourself. So you're going to have a little homework by the end of today. We're also going to be using a tool called Slido. And Slido is a way for us to engage on screen. So I don't have to look into the corner at a chat window. It also allows everyone to see each other's answers. It collates them. And to use Slido, you would go either to a browser window and type in slido.com. That's slido.com, and enter the event code job shop. And you can also just scan the QR code at the top of the screen. That will take you right to our event page where you can engage as well. And thanks, Alexa, for throwing in that link. And give everyone a second to get there. And as everyone gets situated and opens up this app window on their phone or on a browser, we're going to have a quick question to see where everyone is in their job search. So are you employed and casually browsing? Are you employed and open to immediate hire? Are you unemployed and casually browsing? Are you unemployed and seeking an immediate hire? Or do we just, who needs work? I work for myself. I had a friend out in Idaho the other day, pulling out some potatoes, working on his land. And I was like, you better bring me back some potatoes. I think if there's one food group that I love the most, it is potatoes. And I don't know where that started, but it got to the point where people were buying me potatoes with my face on them for my birthday, which you can do. And there's a successful business out there that's doing that. So if you have a dream, you can make it happen. Let's see. We have pretty kind of an even split, almost. Nope, it's growing. So we have unemployed and seeking an immediate hire. Okay, employed and open to an immediate hire. By the way, thanks for using this tool. It's going to be useful throughout the workshop today. And it's just a way for us to stay focused. Our attention is here, not on the work that has to get done today, not on our email inbox. It is focused on you. This is a workshop for you to figure out how to find the next job that's right for you and create more fulfillment in your life. Okay, thank you everyone for sharing. So we have some people, we have about a third employed and open to an immediate hire. And we have unemployed and seeking an immediate hire. Those are our two greatest categories. Kind of a highlight of the great resignation that's coming, where people hopefully are waking up and saying, I deserve more. And I'd like to, put a little pin out there and say, can you change your job to be best fit for you? We're going to go over what that fit could be. And let's look where you're currently at, because sometimes there's more opportunity than we envision and imagine. So thank you all for engaging. A ton of people engaged in Slido, so keep that up. Now, there's a foundation that's truly important when we're talking about looking for a job and screening a job and vetting companies. And that is to remember that this is an opportunity for you. There are very few instances in our life that force growth. Moving, a new relationship, ending of a relationship, a death, um, college. But one of the main ones is a job. You earn more money pretty much automatically. You earn new relationships. You learn new skills. It can change the trajectory of your career, not just this one job, but your overall career. And we can lose that when we're applying for jobs. You can lose because it gets stressful and frustrating. And then maybe we get to the final round of a couple of jobs and we don't get it. So we start saying, what's wrong with us? But remember that you're supposed to get no's because eventually one is going to become a yes. And that yes is going to be really influential in your life. And so let's get excited about this. Whenever you do find yourself getting frustrated, take a break, do something for yourself. Step away from it for a second, because that positive mindset actually can lead to some more positive outcomes as well. So I hope everyone can take a second and be like, wow, this is a really cool opportunity ahead of me right now. The path forward is going to be incredible. It's just getting there. So my name is Dr. Benjamin Ritter. I've been working in the leadership and career space for about 10 years in different capacities. I've also worked a variety of jobs in the past, from healthcare to entertainment to public policy to hospitality. So I have a wide range of experience that I bring to my clients. And mainly I work with leaders to craft a career that they can love. That can mean a career pivot. It can mean developing themselves as leader where they currently are, or it can mean just growing professionally in their career. So everything from fixing your resume to finding clarity on what that next step will be to building a community that's going to help you get there. That's what I do. And I also like working internal to corporations. So I build talent development programs as well. So performance reviews that actually get you excited about your job instead of deflated, to new manager trainings and leadership development programs. And so this space is something that I absolutely love. If you want to reach out and continue the conversation, my contacts are below. Reach out on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or YouTube is where I'm most active. But this is something I've seen so many transitions with people in their career. And I know I just spoke about this fact that this is a positive time, and it may not feel that way, but I promise you the growth that can come from just doing a little bit about what we talk about today is unimaginable. And it will add so much value to your life. So thank you for being, thank you for being focused. And if you can commit to doing one thing, please just pick one thing from today and believe that this is going to actually add value to your life. Okay, so we're going to talk about how we can change our strategy and how we approach the job market in itself, how we can become a little bit more proactive and feel empowered to do that. We're going to identify what your focus is. So when you are looking for a job, how do you know what to look for? And then how to evaluate those opportunities to see if they're best fit for you, what to do post-offer. And then by the end, stick around. I'm going to give away a free job search strategy session to someone that's here today, and we'll open it up for Q&A. So you're happy to log your questions in the chat. They may get lost though. So I highly suggest you write them down, save them for the end, and I'll try to give everyone the attention that their questions deserve. So thank you. Okay. So another Slido poll. Really, really curious if anyone here has sought out their last job specifically. So they had the name of a company they wanted, the name of a position, and they specifically went for that and they ended up getting it. So this is like, I knew I wanted this job. I ended up getting this job due to a specific focus on this thing. Okay, we have some votes coming in. We have some yeses around 20% and growing. We have no's at about 74%. Okay, let's see. Oh, no, yeses are growing. So did you seek out your last job specifically? You went out there, you said, I'm going to get this job. You went and knocked on some doors or email inboxes or connected with some friends, ended up getting that position. Okay, it's growing. I see the yes is growing. I see the no's staying the same. Now, our job industry, I like to call it that, the plethora of job boards that we have and how we hire individuals is not really built in a way that promotes seeking out your last job, like specifically seeking out that job, specifically knowing what you want and going after it. We are kind of not really told, never really taught how to find a job. More so, here's a job board. You have a resume, hit apply. That's what we're supposed to do, right? That makes sense. And so I'd love to talk to these 30 percenters because this is incredible that you sought out your last job specifically. Please throw in the chat, by the way, what that might have been and what motivated you to get that job. I think it'd be neat to see those stories later. Might not be able to respond right now, but I'll be able to read them eventually. And so we don't usually seek out a job specifically, which is kind of strange because everything else that we do within our life and where we invest our time and money, we look at reviews. We make a conscious choice. We look at Yelp, we ask our friends, we look at the Google reviews. When we buy an expensive product, we compare different products to each other. I don't know about you. I'm very review oriented. I'm like, even if I can't trust that review, I use Amazon a lot too, and I'm looking for the thing with the most reviews. But when we look for a job, usually what happens is we find a job that's listed online. It seems sort of interesting, and we submit our resume. And then we go through the interview process. And if that job makes us an offer that seems to be like a semi-fit, we accept it. But what is it about the job search process that doesn't activate this review mindset that I should be able to pick the thing that's best for me? And so I want us to change. I want us to change our strategy a little bit. I'm knocking over my morning drink. And so I'd love us to at least try to commit to this idea that we are going to choose where we want to work, not where we can't work. And we're going to use a proactive mindset. Now, how we do that, we'll discuss. But if you're able to change how you're searching for a job, the benefits are going to influence your entire career. Because if you change where you get one job, that is going to change what you learn, who you interact with, the community you build, and is then going to help you get the next position. And if you're constantly just kind of going with the flow or choosing where you can work, then eventually the next step is probably also going to be where you can work. So let's try to interrupt this right now and buy into the fact that we can choose where we want to work. And so I'd love for you to throw into the chat box, get a conversation going, engage with each other. What is getting in the way of choosing where you want to work? What has prevented this in the past? And if you do this, throw in the chat box what has actually motivated you to do that. What is getting in the way of you choosing where you want to work? This idea of being proactive in your job search. Keep them coming in the chat. I'm going to share my own thoughts and what I experience with clients. And there are mainly 5 different limiting beliefs that I've found. And so there's this belief that that's not how you get a job. It's just not how you do it. I haven't gotten a job that way. That's not how people find a new job. The way to do it is to go to a job board, apply for a job, or use a recruiter and get told what jobs are available. Now, I can tell you that's not true. I had a client the other day. He made 4 phone calls. So we really defined what his brand was, and we targeted his focus on dream companies. And this client made 4 phone calls, and on the 4th phone call got offered his dream job. Didn't even know the job existed. And a lot of the jobs that we actually want aren't listed. They're not out there. I think the last statistic was something along the lines of, it was something like obscene, like 60% of jobs are within the hidden job market for whatever reason are not actually posted on a job board. Another limiting belief is that we're just too busy. People are too busy. They don't want to talk to us. I don't have the time for this. I don't really know where to start. It's going to take way too much time. And if you think about it though, applying for a job on a job board, just throwing in your resume, every time you do that, every time you apply for a job, you're starting over. You're throwing your resume into kind of a black hole abyss. And if it doesn't get picked, you have to do that again. Now, I think using your time wisely would be, okay, how do I start being proactive and building relationships and connecting with companies and organizations that are very specific towards what I care about? How do I do that? Because that's going to continuously build upon itself. That's actually probably going to save you time. If we were to break down job boards and time spent actually being focused, I'd say job boards probably about 20, 30% of the time, and the rest of the time being spent really focused and targeted on what you want. A lot of my clients, almost every single one of them, thought that connecting and networking and going after what you want makes you seem needy, and that just doesn't look good. I'm not a salesman. I'm not a salesperson. But honestly, that's just the mentality of how you are perceiving this. You could look at it as, okay, I'm actually just going to be curious because I want to learn more about this organization, about this job. I want to see if it is a fit. So if we can lead with curiosity, we'll talk about this a little bit later, that will change this needy mindset to a sense of wonder, which actually adds value to people that you talk to, that you reach out to. And the last two, so people will find you based on your work. Yes, a recruiter could find you. Someone could reach out to you on LinkedIn if you have the right brand online. But if you're not branded appropriately to what you want to focus on and where you want to go, it's going to be very difficult for someone to find you. Now, yes, you could build relationships at your current job and that person can leave and then bring you with. But again, are you choosing where you want to work? Is that going to lead you to the career you want? And this is the biggest one. And it frustrates me so much because it holds so many people back is that they don't believe they deserve it. And everyone here, if this is the one thing you take away, honestly, other than just the mindset towards your job search, it's that you deserve any job that you want. You do. And it doesn't matter that you haven't done the job yet. Every single person that has earned a specific position did not do that job at some point in time. So think about that for a second. You do deserve to work wherever you want to work. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in what you want to do for your career right now? Let's see what we got. Clarity is the foundation of looking for a job and being targeted and being proactive. On a scale of 1 to 10, and it's okay if you don't have clarity. Honestly, 90% of the people I work with as clients do not know what they want to do next. And there are things you can do to figure that out. We'll go through a couple question prompts coming up next. So make sure you have something to take notes. And I will be more than happy to share these slides afterwards as well. Okay, look what we got. An average of like 5.8, some 8s. By the way, clarity on what you want to do in your career. So confidence in what you want to do doesn't always mean I know exactly what I want to do, but it means I know kind of the feel of what I want to do, the general idea of what I want to do. And that usually is enough, by the way. Because if you know kind of the general industry and what you want to feel and the impact that you might want to have, then you can get more information about projects and skills you want to build and people you want to work with. But then as you immerse yourself in the space, you actually create more clarity around the topic itself. It's hard to know what you want to do in a field you're not working in. And so you have to get in there first and start playing around and have some fun. And that's going to help you build even more clarity. Okay, so hopefully this was a good opportunity for you to see where you might need to focus. If you're probably under 7, under 6, you need to spend a lot of time, not even a lot, just an hour of your time asking yourself some of the questions that are coming up to help you really target where you're going to go next in your career. Okay, so how do you figure out your focus? And one of the things I really like to do, and this is sometimes people start where they're at and they go, where do I want to go next? And I found a lot more success in going, where did you end up? Let's say, think about where you might have retired. What is that day in your life like in your retirement? And then we can work backwards. So to figure out your focus, figure out your end vision. What are you doing? Where are you in the world? Who are you with? And once you get that vision, you can start working backwards. What impact have you had on the world? What were some of the greatest accomplishments that you achieved? You can dream here, by the way. You can dream. Anything is possible if we have it in our minds. So dream as big as you want. What impact have you had? What are the values that attaches to you for yourself? I saw social impact quickly in the chat. So what sort of impact did you create? Where were you focused? And then break that down even further. So what are some potential careers? What are some titles from your last job you could have had based on that? What are some of the jobs you might have had? Who are some of the people you might have worked with, the types of people? What are some of the other projects you might have worked on? So break down that impact in specific projects. What sort of environments or industries did you end up working in? And you can create a list from this. And then when you have that information, you can even go down to organizations. What organizations did you work in? And this may take some time. You may have to do some research to figure out what organizations are in specific industries. Some may pop up for you right away. But when you have this general idea of this is the impact I want to create, these are the potential jobs it could be, these are the types of projects that I want to work on, these are the industries that I'm drawn to right now. I want to actually spend more time in. You can then get specific and build out almost a dream organization list. And this is high level. But once you have this information, you can actually then figure out what is the specific thing that I might want to do. And so now we want to change our focus and we want to look at our sweet spot. So where might we want to be right now? And by the way, please, I see the chat box going. Please throw your thoughts in the chat. Keep the conversation going. We have a decent amount of people in the event today, and it really helps if you find someone that you can connect with. I mean, why not support each other during this part of your journey? So when we have this high level view of some of the organizations we might want to work in, the impact that we want to create, we then can refocus now and say, okay, so let's look at the present. Can I figure out what I might want to do right now would be my sweet spot? And the sweet spot is something that moves and changes as you grow in your career. It's something that I developed to help my clients figure out what's next for them. And it's basically three main areas that overlap with each other. And so what have you been trained to do right now? So we're focusing on the present. So where are your strengths? You can write out a list of 10 to 20. I like going 30 of your strengths. And these are where you feel confident. You know, when you work in a job that doesn't feel right to you, doesn't feel like you're skilled at it, it gets really frustrating. It can be really uncomfortable. And if you've ever been in a job where you've just never felt good enough, you know that it's not fun and it's very hard to excel. And then, of course, there are going to be about 3 months or so within any new job, 3 to 6 months, where you're getting your footing, which is why those 3 to 6 months are very uncomfortable. But if you're in a job that is consistently making you feel like you're not good enough, that's a recipe for burnout. And so we want to make sure that this next step in your career is something that you feel confident in. Now, confident isn't enough, though. You also want to have some sort of journey in front of you. So you also want to ask yourself, what do I want to learn next? And if you were to take a high level altitude view again to what the vision that we just talked about, what do you need to learn? What are the steps of things that you need to learn to help you get there that can help create some answers for this question? But more so, maybe you just already know some of the skills that you want to learn, some of the projects you want to work on, some of the people that you want to work with. What comes up for you here? Make a list of 3 to 5 things. And if you are able to identify the things that you want to work on in the future, you actually feel like there is a future where you are. You don't feel stagnant. So if you've ever felt a little stagnant in a job, it's because you don't really feel that there's anything that's going to happen next for you. It almost becomes pointless. The other part that can make things feel pointless is that if you don't actually feel connected or passionate about what you're doing. So the third part of your sweet spot is what you love to do at work and in your life. And I say at work and in your life because these can intersect with each other and feed off of each other. They may be different, but they can feed off of each other. So we're looking at 3 main areas where I'm passionate, what you're passionate about, where you feel challenged, where you want to grow, and then also where you feel highly skilled and confident. And you can make a list of these areas and start saying, where do these overlap? And you can actually build questions from your sweet spot to help you during interviews to see if a position is right for you. And you can even ask questions about your future sweet spot to see if this position is able to flex and able to help you grow and it will be right for you in the future. Really fun activity with this is to write these 3 categories out and then look at your jobs and your levels of satisfaction in your jobs and see where it lands within this Venn diagram. Because you'll tend to notice that sometimes you start a job and maybe you're really excited about it and you feel like you're going to grow, but you don't really feel very skilled or confident in it. So you're not exactly in your sweet spot. You're a little out of it. And then as you become confident in it, you kind of go more towards your sweet spot. But then something happens where you don't really feel like there's a growth opportunity anymore. So you fall out of it again, or you get bogged down in the work. And so you end up losing your passion because you can't even think about what you're passionate about anymore because there's so much work to do and your boundaries have broken apart. And so it's really neat to see and understand your own career through the lens of your sweet spot. So I highly recommend everyone try that activity as well. Okay. So what is an industry or company that immediately stands out to you? Let's think impact, values, going back to this high level vision, everything that we've discussed right now. What's your gut instinct? I'm really curious to hear from you. Now, myself, because I have the values of leadership development, talent development, and entrepreneurship. Um, I lean towards that. But what I didn't mention to anyone is that I also have a passion for health and wellness. I have a huge part of my background in my life is in fitness, in soccer, in nutrition. And it's kind of why I got drawn to healthcare initially. And so I mentor a lot in the consumer packaged goods space, the CPG space. And I have a huge network that I've spent time on building because it is something that I'm truly passionate about and want to do work in the future and a little bit of work now. And so go with your gut. What comes up for you? We have such a range of people here. This is so neat. This is so neat. Thank you for sharing. By the way, I know I've asked you to use Slido for this, but if you see people that are also posting similar things as you, throw it into the chat box too. See if you can connect with somebody. The list keeps going. This is great. Thank you so much for exploring and being introspective, by the way, taking the time to reflect. And this can be enough. Okay, so purpose-driven companies, that can be enough to get you started. Maybe you don't know what specific purpose you're interested in, or maybe you just want to help purpose-driven companies overall. So can you start going online, doing some research? Who's working in this space? Who's helping these companies grow? Is it a consultancy? Is it a nonprofit? Is there a certain media outlet for this type of work? Are there podcasts? You can start adjusting your environment to be fit for what really stands out to you. And that is one of the steps to ensuring that opportunities from that environment, from that industry, are created. Okay, let's move forward. Thank you, everyone. So you know what you want, potentially, but now you need other people to believe you deserve it. Too often, I will work with a client that knows what they want, but nobody else knows what they want. And even when they have the chance to tell someone about what they care about, they're quiet. They hold themselves back. And so if you had the choice, if you could brand yourself, and branding is important because if you can brand yourself, then other people believe that you can do this thing, and they'll look, when an opportunity comes up, they'll look for you and offer that opportunity to you. If you could create a brand for yourself, what do you want people to remember about you? Throw it into the chat. What is the one sentence, 2 sentences that you want people to remember about you? For myself, expert in organizational leadership and can grow anyone's leadership capabilities and help them find a career that they love. And if there's one thing I want them to know, it's I guide others to create a career that they love. So what is the one thing you want people to remember about you? Related to your career, related to your job search. Keep them coming. Keep them coming in the chat. This is a big question, by the way. What do you want people to know about you? Not what you believe about yourself, because it's going to take some time. You've maybe just gotten a little bit of an answer. You need to build some confidence around it. But if you had, in the ideal world, what do you want people to remember about you when they meet you? And this is so important. Keep them coming. Keep them coming in the chat. This is so important because if you have this brand and you can get intentional about it. And when I say intentional, what I mean is you consume content. So you listen to podcasts, read books, attend events. You surround yourself, you connect with people that are related to that. Your life will automatically start serving up opportunities. I mean, just think about it. The more time you spend doing something, the more likely something is going to happen within it. So if we can get intentional about what we really care about with the people around us, the content we consume, then we're more likely to also potentially get a job in that area. And we also need to be aware of how we are showing up then on social media, on LinkedIn, even Instagram, anywhere, honestly, how we are showing up in conversations as well. Because if we don't align with the brand that we want to create for ourselves, then we're not actually being intentional. We're holding ourselves back. I don't know if you've ever had something going really good in your life. Let's say your job's going really well, but you had a relationship in your life that was completely separate. They weren't aligned with where you wanted to go in your career. It was very stressful. And you could feel the energy draining from one area into another. And it holds you back. And so how can you create greater alignment from what you care about for your career within all areas of your life? So that if you were to reflect on your week, you'd say, yeah, this makes sense. Like the brand that I have for myself, this makes sense because I'm living it. And so once you do that, a lot of magic can happen. And something to help us do this is to learn how to tell our story. And this is our pitch. And again, you're going to get these slides. I'm just going to go through this really quickly because this is going to take some time for you to develop. But your pitch starts with your main experience, goes into your passion, and then ends with your vision. And this is something you use when you meet people and they say, tell me about yourself. It's something you will use when you're connecting with strangers, to trying to build your environment. It's something you would tell yourself that you can believe in yourself. And in a job interview, when someone says, tell me about yourself, very often people start, when I was in high school or when I graduated from college. And the first thing that you say is going to stick out to the person that you're saying it to. So make sure whenever you say who you are and what you do and what you care about, your pitch, that it starts with your main piece of experience, your main piece of expertise, what you want them to remember. So for example, hi, my name is Dr. Benjamin Ritter. I have a background in organizational leadership, which is really the development of leaders. And I have over 10 years of experience in coaching and entrepreneurship. So right now, you know exactly what I want you to know about me. So I will include this to everyone in the follow-up email, so watch it. But it starts off with your street cred, so your main level of expertise. It goes into what you're passionate about and ends with kind of what that future vision is, what you want to do next. You get this down pat, people will remember this about you. They'll remember the first sentence and they'll remember usually the last sentence in terms of what you want to create. Okay, so what holds you back the most from networking? I keep hinting about the need to network and build your environment from people. But what are some of the things that hold you back? There might be some common threads. A lot of them actually relate to some of the limiting beliefs that I mentioned in the beginning of the workshop. I love it. Nothing. I miss it. That's awesome. Amazing. Yeah, no in-person events. By the way, I moved to Austin during COVID from Chicago, and I've built such a huge network using LinkedIn. I feel like when one area, calms down, the other one just kind of explodes. People are looking to connect, but they're looking to connect for connection. They're not looking to connect for sales. So approaching again with curiosity and interest and giving, just showing someone that level of attention is really important to ensuring that someone wants to connect. You're not sure where to start, you're being shy. Yep, fear of rejection, huge. That is huge. Don't feel authentic. Knowing what you want to do. So what do you even say? How do you even talk to someone for 30 minutes? And who am I to get 30 minutes from them? I promise you, by the way, if someone is willing to connect with you, so if you send an invitation to someone to connect, hey, really interested in having a conversation, and they say yes, they're getting something from the conversation. There's a reason why they want to do it. And so that automatically just takes away this idea of I'm stealing from them because they're choosing to do it with you. An engager is going to want to engage. The people that don't want to engage with you aren't going to respond. Have a hard time asking for help. Yeah. And this selling idea, if we can get rid of we're selling ourselves and more so I'm learning about what is available in the world. I'm learning about this individual and their story because it interests me, because it adds to my own knowledge, then that can lead to more opportunities. And it's not salesy. It is exhausting though. It can be. It can be exhausting if we're focused outside of our brand. We want to connect with people that we're excited about. We want to connect with companies that we're excited about. Okay. Thank you everyone again for engaging. It's all normal, by the way. See, we all feel the same way in a lot of ways. So the mindset that we have to approach networking with, and I've kind of been hinting at this and touching on it a little bit, is that you have the right to reach out to anybody at any time. Someone's on LinkedIn, someone has their email out there. They are, if they don't want to hear from anyone, they would go live on an island in a cave. Okay, we all have cell phones. So that gives you permission to reach out to anyone at any time. And if you're not selling them anything, even more so, because you're not taking anything from them. And if we don't put ourselves out there, we're just not going to get a yes. We're not going to create an opportunity for ourselves if we don't reach out. It's kind of like when we were in school, how do we make friends? We approached someone and said hi. Yep. I mean, we might have gotten put together on a project, but I think most of the time we went out there. We've done this before. And some of my greatest friends have come from networking, by the way, because I approached it with a level of curiosity. I got interested in the other person. I asked them what I could do for them. I opened up the door to them. I didn't think that there was a scarcity of resources. I believe that there was an abundance of them. And so I tried to connect other people. I tried to give someone someone anything that I had at the time. But honestly, the value that you can give someone in a networking conversation is just your attention. People don't get that much. And one of the greatest things you can give to someone is saying that what they're doing is really impressive. People spend their whole life to get to where they are today. Their own leaders don't even give them feedback. So why not do it for them? Okay, and let's just reset our expectations, because I've sent hundreds, if not thousands, tens of thousands of requests out. I think I have about over 20,000 people that I'm now connected to on LinkedIn, like 23,000 or something like that. And I promise you that probably about 5 times that got unanswered. And so the only way to build a network is to approach people that don't want you to be in your network. And all it takes is one conversation to work out for that one job. Okay, I wrote an article on how to network, by the way, effectively on LinkedIn. I'm going to throw it in the chat box for everybody. Let's see. It's a pretty simple 5-step process. Just make sure everyone has it. I'll include it in the follow-up email as well. But just to go over just a quick strategy for everyone, if you're looking to just get started right away, if you take your brand and you get specific about it, go just find and connect to 20 connections. You can even open up your phone right now if you have LinkedIn on your phone. Type in the search bar something that relates to the job that you want or the industry that you're interested in. Filter it by people and by second connections, and just add 20 people. Don't even write a message. Just add 20 people. Now, if your LinkedIn profile it's not really branded towards you, you might not get that many acceptance. But if you have an okay profile right now, you'll get probably five people accept by the minimum. And then when you see who accepted, you can review who they are, go to their page, give something they posted a like, give them some endorsements for their skills, maybe show up twice in the week, maybe comment on something that they commented on, because you can find that in the activity section on their page. And then follow up with a message. I'm going to share one with you. Just an easy message. Hey, I'm really interested in what you're doing. I'd love to have a chat. They don't respond to you. That's okay. A lot of people don't respond to LinkedIn. A lot of people are just kind of there liking things and not posting or responding to messages. But let's say they don't respond, show up and engage again for a week. And then send them another message. If they don't respond, great, move on. You're building familiarity right now by showing up in their profile. You're showing that you're interested. They see your face, they see your name. And then you send them a really simple message. And they've already showed that they're semi-interested in connecting. This is a great way for you to have conversations with people that work at organizations that you're interested in or doing something that you're interested in. And that can lead to job opportunities. So just a really simple LinkedIn message, by the way, is, hi, I'm Ben. I've been exploring opportunities in the organizational development industry and came across your profile as a leader in the space. Would you be open to a short 15-minute phone call in the coming weeks? And I'll include this, or you can screenshot it. This message has such a high success rate. Now, of course, when I say high success rate, it's not 9 out of 10. We're talking about like a couple out of 10. And has led to so many opportunities for myself, so many opportunities for my clients. And it is really that simple. Now, I have a note here that your profile matters more than the message. And that's very true, because they'll look at your profile. They'll look when someone sends you a connection request or a message, you actually end up seeing their headline. So if that's not set for your brand, you may see varying levels of success. Okay, so what else do you say though? Because you're starting a conversation with someone. So you want to make sure that you work on answering predictable questions. So tell me about yourself, the pitch that we talked about. What interests you about my industry? What interests you about my profile? What interests you about this job that I have maybe? So write out a couple questions, write out a couple predictable answers, to those questions, and be prepared. Just do a little bit of homework so you feel confident going into the conversation. It's just 15 minutes. It'll go by like that, especially if you're asking them questions. If you are curious. And by the end, if you've represented your brand in a way that aligns with the organization, they may say, have you thought about applying here? And if they don't say that, you could say, this has been a great conversation. I really feel aligned with your organization. Um, I'd be open to opportunities if they were there. Or is there someone else that you think I might gain value from talking to? That will lead itself. It'll build exponentially. And if we do that consistency compounds and opportunities will come from this. Okay, some other places to find people. You can look up podcasts, you can look up events, you can see who's written articles or books. You can, what you really want to do is research the industry and organizations that you're interested in. And you can find out some pretty cool stuff sometimes. Like I was interested in a company called Human Co. And I found a couple of podcasts that the CEO was on. I found some incubators that they were part of, which led me to connect with those incubators, led me to connect with other people in the organization that knew those people, which ultimately led me to talk to people at the company I was interested in. So expand yourself. Again, it's not just on a job board. It is everywhere. You can look everywhere for people. If there's an event, see who's speaking at the event. See who's in the audience. Ask a question when you're at the event. Does anyone know anyone that worked at this company? And that, again, it creates magic because you are intentional. So if you can think of anywhere else to find people, throw it in the chat, throw some ideas out there. Let's brainstorm. But there are no limits to where you can connect with people and how you can connect with people. Okay. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick. This is what to do when you actually get the job interview. So you've done all the hard work. You've gotten a job interview. What do you do? Well, I want you to take the information from the sweet spot and build out questions. You want to vet a company to see if it's the right fit for you. So we talked about doing something that you know how to do and doing work that is challenging for you. So you need a question about what work would you expect yourself to work on for the first quarter, for the year, for the second year. You need to know what projects are on the horizon. You need to know who you're going to work with. You need to know what impact does this job have for the organization. So build questions based off of your sweet spot. Build questions off of what you know about yourself to ensure that this is going to be the right job for you. You have the information now. You have your focus. Now let's make sure that we are focused in our interview for ourselves. And the more you can ask questions, so they may ask you, tell me about a project that you worked on recently. And then you can follow up with, what projects are on the horizon? So you can use their questions as a way to pitch your own questions and create a conversation. Gain a little bit more control over the interview, show your interest, which actually makes you a more likely candidate for the position. So more specifically, for recruiters, they want to fill the job so you can ask very directed questions about what you discovered about yourself. For hiring managers, this is your opportunity to learn about their leadership style, about the work, about the impact potentially, about the projects that are on the horizon. And when you actually are interviewing peers, you have the opportunity to learn how they work. They're going to be the types of people that you want to work with because your social network is incredibly important. There's a lot of info on this slide. I'm not going to go through it all right now. So make a note for yourself to review this slide later on if you want to figure out what questions you can develop for an interview coming up. And again, you are empowered. You have my permission. You have everyone's permission. And honestly, the companies want to see this, to ask these types of questions during an interview. You need to know that you're going into a job that's the best fit for you. And by asking these questions, you're also highlighting the fact that you are a fit for the organization if you like the answers based on because then you will respond in a way that highlights that as well. One of the greatest things that you can do in this instance is to build an assessment tool for the jobs that you are interviewing for. And so you can take traits from your career sweet spot and from your future vision. You can pick 10 of them and you can build them into an Excel spreadsheet, give them a score 1 to 10, and then you see where this job ranks out of 100. This is a really great tool to use when you're having to evaluate multiple job offers. And if there is a red flag, accept the red flag. Like say, okay, I'm going to go in this job for 6 months to a year because I need it right now just for a certain reason. Or actually pay attention to it. Because if you feel it, it's there. I don't know if you've ever taken a job with a red flag. It's sometimes can be worth it. But do you want this for your next step? I don't think you need it. Okay, so let's say you get a job offer. You want to make sure that you're excited about the job. So score 90 out of 100. Okay, 85 out of 100, 100 out of 100. and you're thinking about accepting it, but I would recommend doing a little bit more due diligence. So do your online research, check out Glassdoor, just search the company, see if there are any lawsuits against them, see if there's any news articles about them. You can find past employees. I've had clients find past employees from Instagram. Like they weren't active on LinkedIn, so they found them on Instagram and they had a conversation about the company. It was a very bad review of the organization itself. And they ended up choosing to go for the position, but they set certain boundaries to ensure that what the negative aspects of the position the employee said weren't going to happen. They looked at other people of the organization as well. So you can be interviewing for a job and actually have networking conversations with people that work at the organization. I've done that. I've had clients that have done that. What's nice about speaking to people that are not part of the job process is that there's no attachment. Like you aren't worried about hurting your opportunity. They don't know that you're applying for an opportunity. And so it allows a little bit more freedom in speak. Now, big disclaimer here, you don't want to base a decision off of one person because one person's perspective is not everyone's. And so you want to make sure that if you're just kind of taking this information with a grain of salt and it becomes part of your evaluation. You also can look at who the clients have been, previous customers. You can talk to them. You can look at reviews from them. There's a lot of information out there for you to evaluate an offer that is outside of the interview itself. So we're coming to the close right now. I'd love for you to throw some red flags that you've ignored in the past in the chat box, please. What are some things that you ignored that you wish you didn't, or that you wanted to pay more attention to? Sometimes things like we're going through a lot of change right now, or we just cut out 30% of our staff, or sometimes getting a new CEO can be dangerous if you're moving into a senior leadership position, or we're thinking about maybe getting acquired. Yeah, throw it in there. Awesome. No budget. Yep, budget's a good question. What budget this department? Who decides on this budget? That's a big question a lot of people don't ask. We really love this company. We work all the time. They can learn about work expectation and hours. Keep them going. It's okay to say no to a job, by the way. It's okay to say no. There will be more. Okay, so just in summary, let's get excited and be proactive about the job search. This is an opportunity for you. Start with your focus, start with clarity. It can even, clarity can just be a general idea, and then we can dive into that more and start having conversations, and it will iron itself out. Make sure you align your brand and your community to your specific focus, target your search, and then once you get connected, just be memorable, share your brand. That's all you need to do. Be confident in who you are and what you stand for, and opportunities will come from that. And if you do get a job offer, don't be afraid to say no, and don't be afraid to spend a little bit more time doing some research to make sure that it's the right fit for you. So we're going to move into the giveaway, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So I'm giving away a 45-minute job search strategy session to go over how you're looking for a job, where you might want to look for a job, where your focus is, how to network, and can I even walk you through some of the networking strategies. $325 value, and all you need to do is submit your email for a chance to win. This does not show up. I will be picking a winner later on, so please don't put it in the chat because the chat is not private, but this will be private. So use Slido, throw your email in. I will pick someone by the end of the workshop today, and I'm excited to hopefully work with somebody. So please submit it in. I'll give another 30 seconds for this. And get your questions ready if you've already done this, because we're going to open it up in a second. And Alexa, I don't know if you have a list of people who've been holding them right now. Let's see.
So I asked folks to share them in the Q&A part of the Slido. So you can see a couple of folks
wonderful.
have voted.
Let me open it up right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your attention, by the way, and your engagement. This has been incredible. Okay, so let's see. As everyone's entering in their email, I'm going to look at the first question. 7 likes. Do you have any tips for keeping your portfolio up to date so you're ready to interview when a job opportunity you're interested in opens up? Great question. Now, really, it's what works for you, but I always recommend that anyone at their job keeps a list of their major projects and accomplishments. One of the best ways to collate this, if you haven't in a while, is if you have performance reviews. A lot of times those performance reviews will actually list the major projects that you've worked on, or to look at your email folders in Outlook if you are an organization, if you like to organize like me, or your previous sent emails. That allows you to see what you've worked on in the past. And you can take that and just build a general bulleted list of the projects that you've worked on. You also want to put together the people that you've worked with, like the titles of the people that you've worked with in the past, because that's going to be important in terms of, who have you worked with? What sort of stakeholders, what sort of cross-collaborative teams, what were those outcomes? So keeping a running list, a Word document or an Excel document is going to be really important. The performance review process, and also helps you with your performance review process, by the way. I also like this because if you can keep a success folder of the things that you've done that have worked out for you, that also builds your confidence as well. So any tips for writing a great cover letter? How important is it? Okay, I'm kind of torn on this, by the way, because not many people use a cover letter, and the people that do use a cover letter, it tends to be pretty bad. So if you can write a cover letter and it just has sentences that make sense, it's not too long, it's like maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs of 2 or 3 sentences a paragraph, then you will really stand out. It also allows you to keyword load a little bit more. The applicant tracking systems right now that score your resume, they also look at your cover letters. And there's my cat. I don't know if you can see her. So it's going to help your score overall. So I'd recommend doing it if you feel confident in writing something that's pretty simple, that incorporates some of the values of the organization that are in the job description, and that just makes sense grammatically. In terms of an outline, I'd say, so the first piece is stating that you're qualified for the job. It's like a sentence or two. The second piece is really using some of the main requirements that are listed in the job description. The first, saying that you have those requirements. The third piece is 2 or 3 sentences about a project that relates to the job, just in a little bit more detail in terms of this is what you did, this is who you worked with, this is the outcome. And then the last paragraph is just reiterating the fact that you have the values and the requirements for the job. It's that simple. It should not be more than 1 page. Now, if just in general, your resume and cover letter should not be in small font. They should look appeasing to the eye. There should be some white space. So hopefully that helps out. So let's see. Yes, and to Anne's point, you should be highlighting what's in the job description. Like the things that are in the job description are there for a reason. The hiring manager built that description and is usually is probably 90% of the time for a company that is using an applicant tracking system is going to be scoring people's resumes based on that. So you can use even direct sentences sometimes that are in the requirements if they make sense, and adding the results from your own projects to make sure that you stand out. Okay, let's see. How do you assess company culture? This is where talking to other people in the organization can be very helpful. People that have also worked there in the past. To find people that have worked there in the past, you go on LinkedIn, look up the company, or you go on LinkedIn, you type in the search bar someone's name, hit enter, and use one of the filters to look at previous company. You select previous company, and then you take out their name and hit enter, and you'll get people that have worked there in the past and listed it on LinkedIn. Then you can reach out to them and have a conversation. That's one of the easiest ways. The other ways is just to build a question list. I'll send you the slide deck. You can look at what to ask peers and what to ask the hiring manager. And then you have to read between the lines. And depending on what culture that you want. Do you want a culture that is very family-like, that has consistent communication, constant communication each day? People kind of work in almost a startup mentality and mindset. Do you want more of an autonomous culture? Do you want one that promotes, you can ask what the performance management is like. What is the performance review process? How do they promote feedback? Is it consistent? Is it iterative? Is it bonus based? These are questions that you can build. Love to know how to reach out to recruiters and how to find the right person to contact at a company. So I honestly don't, I'm a career coach, so I don't really suggest recruiters. I think that they can not be in your best interest at all time. And it's not to say that that's the case, but if we're getting targeted for our own job search, figuring out who to contact at a company is going to be, I think, more impactful and more effective. It's not that you shouldn't use them. It's just that it's not being as proactive as I would like everyone to be in their job search. And so looking for who to contact, honestly, is anyone to contact. You can find a lot of gold in someone that just starts at a company, that is in a lower position at a company. You can find even more value, though, from talking to someone that is a step above or 2 steps above where you want to be, or at the exact level of where you want to be. So you can get specific based on job title and then look at who's in those job titles at the company and reach out to them. And you are just looking for someone that wants to reply. So I'd start maybe with 2 or 3 at a time, give them a week or 2 weeks after engaging on their profile, and move on to the next person. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. I want to make sure that I pick the winner. So give me 1 second to go into Slido and pick that person. Let's see. I need to go on the computer to do this. And by the way, thank you to everyone that joined today. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for being open to these ideas. I hope that this adds a little bit of value for you. I actually would love to hear what value this added for you. So if you can put your one main takeaway in the chat, this would make me really happy because I get to look at these later. So what is one main takeaway that you've had from today's workshop? So you do my research, you deserve the job you want, you do, you really do. Okay. Let's see. Keep them coming. Okay, and the winner is, we have Ashley Mackle here. She's still here. Okay, watch out. You're going to get an email from me. Thank you for entering. Thank you to everyone for entering. And thank you for, again, being here and attending. Please connect with me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I'm most active. And I will offer everyone some savings on a LinkedIn resume and job search strategy package just for being here. So if you connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know that you're interested in that, just send me a message that you're interested. I'm happy to offer this discount to all of you. I mean, wherever you are in the world, you've spent an hour of your time with me and you've engaged and made this a lot of fun. So you've added value to my day. You've added value to everyone's day who's on this call. And again, I really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you. Please connect. Keep that value company. Yeah, unmute and say thank you if you'd like.
Yeah, let me give y'all the unmute option. And I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to save the chat too. Benjamin, well, you're recording, so you probably have it, but I definitely recommend it. But yeah, anyone wants to unmute, you can do that now.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun on the job search.
Thank you.
Thank you. Haven't so far, but yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Putting a big smile on my face.
All right, everybody. I hope everyone who wanted to save the chat was able to do that. Benjamin, we got a couple of questions as to whether you're sharing your slides after.
Yeah, let me send them to you. I don't think I've done that yet.
Great. If you can send me a drop or a Google Drive link or something, that'd be great. And then y'all will get that in the 24-hour follow-up email. And we've got a sound bath later, so maybe see you there, maybe not. And I'm going to close up the room. Thank you again, Benjamin. That was awesome.
Thanks, Alexa.
Everybody.
Thank
Again.
you.
Thank you, Alexa.
You. Okay.
Yeah, Alexa's awesome.
3, 2, 1.